To the guy who invented zero, thanks for nothing.
Shut up and sit down.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
You know what I'd like? A brand new bike. Of course, there's some other things I'd like to have, but I'd sure like a brand new bike.
What's up, guys? I'm Matt LeGrand. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm a rock climber. I'm a Lord of the Rings fanatic.
And I'm a YouTube superstar.
A new analysis published in the British Medical Journal finds that men are idiots.
Yep, we're idiots.
You may or may not be listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt LeGrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing. If you like the show, enjoy it. If not, I think you actually listened to the move with some other guy named Lance.
I would have something to eat just before I go to sleep. You know what I'd like? A brand new bike. Of course, there's some other things I like to have, but I'd sure like a brand new bike.
If 666 is all evil, then 25.8069758 is the root of all evil.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I am Jake Von During, and I'm here with Lance friggin' Hepler. Did I just say that? Oops, I meant to say I'm here with Lance friggin' Hepler.
Lance friggin' Hepler.
Guys,
hello.
We just lost our Disney sponsorship.
That was
we're 59 seconds into the podcast, and we've lost our Disney sponsorship.
Jake, are you feeling kind of angry and anxious this morning? It seems like
I need to be able to ride a bike, you guys. I really do.
That's what's going on.
Your mental health is deteriorating because you're not spinning your legs enough.
Yeah, it is.
There it is. We needed that a few minutes ago.
All right.
Okay,
to freaking Hepler's left, Mr. Matt LeGrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys look feisty today. Freaking feisty today.
I just roared like a cougar. That was weird.
Yeah, it was. It's a little weird, but you know, you're amongst friends here.
I guess so.
You're a cougar, huh?
No. You see, this has started poorly.
Yeah.
Take two.
Everything has started poorly.
So that's how it goes.
All right, guys, we got stuff to talk about. Do we want to just backpedal real quick and get that out of the way to make the backpedal
Sure, let's
people
do it.
happy about doing it early in the show? So,
do people like it? Do people prefer that?
We've had some
people say that they prefer it. We've had some other people say that they don't. But
okay,
we've had more people say we like it early than say I don't care or I like it later.
I can be really fast.
Go.
I've only biked once this week, and it was fantastic. It was mountain biked with the cross country team, sort of, or through the cross country team as they do their long run. I'm doing that like once a week, and I'm loving it on the mountain bike. It's been fun. Trails are good. Every single day of this week so far, I have gone for a run. Life is good.
Wow.
I'm happy.
They're
like, little runs.
Is it improving or is it just like hit a plateau-ish?
So part of me thinks that running a little bit every day keeps my legs loosened up enough that they don't have problems, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not doing great. I'm not like crushing any specific workout, but
it'd be nice if you had access to like a doctor close by.
I know. I've thought about that. I've thought about like maybe trying to like marry one.
Maybe you should marry a doctor.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll let you know how that goes. But yeah, so running's going pretty okay, and it's the most time effective exercise. Like even going to the pool is not bad, but like you go to the pool and you drive to the pool, swim for an hour, drive back. I mean, it's just
it's more time.
In a run, I can pretty much get something done in 30 minutes, and I've been like dropping the kids off at school and then going right to Heritage Trail, doing my little Heritage Trail thing. Taking my camera with me, taking my phone with me, taking little photos along the way, and just living it up, dude.
Yeah,
doing trail things.
That's good. I'm glad you're doing.
That's it. Backpedal over.
Go, Lance.
I raced my bike 4 times.
Only 4.
4 times.
Because we haven't talked in
since last
almost
Thursday.
5 days.
It's been 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
drove to Bend and did the Thrilla cyclocross race last Thursday night.
Was there Michael Jackson music?
There was not, but I would have liked that.
Yeah, that's a huge mistake by them.
kind of a small race, but very cool. Right in Bend, around this like little athletic club. It's usually kind of a dusted out, blown out type of course, but it rained while I was there. There was an odd rainstorm that kind of rolled through
to help pat
Oregon.
things down.
It did. It made things a little bit nicer. So
nice. And those guys, the people in Bend don't know how to ride in the rain. They probably like flew off their bike and, crashed
regardless,
the floor.
I raced the 50-plus race. There was only like 12 or 13 people in it, but I took fourth. I didn't even make the podium. So there's a couple guys I didn't even know who they were that just race and stay in Bend.
Bend has got athletes coming out of their sleeves. They just...
So it's all good. I had a great time. Good. It was full gas for like 35 minutes, and it was a lot of fun. So it was all good.
You raced again in Bend?
I raced again in Bend. So I was going there for the Ring of Fire mountain bike race, a 50-mile mountain bike race that was on Saturday. And so Friday, I spent that with a couple of teammates, John Hatfield and Chris Hannell.
Did you get burned by the Ring of Fire?
I did get burned by the Ring of Fire. It was a bit of a... I DNF'd.
Yeah.
I DNF'd the 50-mile race.
You got burned.
So I did get burned. I was actually feeling really good. I was excited for this race. I felt like it would take me roughly 4.5 hours. I was going to be battling for a podium spot, but I knew it would be a stretch for me to make the podium spot because there were like 60 people in my field. But 8 miles in, my rear derailleur just crapped out. It quit working.
Ice cream sandwich.
Yes, exactly. And I couldn't figure it out. I thought, oh, my battery's dead. So I carry an extra battery with me. Swapped the battery. It worked for like 10 more shifts and then stopped again. It like quit working. But in this time it quit in a too high of a gear. Like I was riding uphill, so too big of a rear cog. So I thought, what the crap? So I stopped. I changed the coin cell battery in my shifter pod. I tried
wow, you had all that stuff.
Yeah,
That's what she said.
So I changed the battery again. I kept swapping between batteries, and then it just like quit responding at all. I messed with it for like half an hour. Trailside updated the firmware with my cell phone on it to see if it would work. It just would not come back to life. So,
it's got to be something like simple, right? Loose cable. There is no cable.
I did some digging. I looked. I found nothing online, but I started kind of really digging into it. And one of the little battery contact points for the derailleur. There's two little gold spring-loaded contact points. One of them wasn't very springy, like the spring had broke, or it was just so the battery just wasn't connecting right. And so, like if I dipped the battery in mineral oil, it would work for like half an hour, and then it would quit again.
You've done some weird stuff.
So
you went weird on this one.
I tried, man. I was like, okay, how do I make this connection better? Whatever. I tried to take the whole thing apart because you kind of can now. Still didn't work. Anyway, called SRAM, said, hey, something happened. Something's going on. Why is this happening? And they said, we don't know. We're going to send you a new one. So SRAM sending me a new one. It should be here Monday. I'll swap it out. They'll send the other one back and see if they can figure it out. But
that's interesting.
So yeah, so it crapped out. That didn't work. I actually hitchhiked a ride back to my van, got on my gravel bike.
Is that not the first time you've hitchhiked?
I know. Well, it was Bend, and it was like, I was right at Mount Bachelor.
Yeah.
And so it was easy to get a ride
so
back.
You couldn't single speed it back?
I could, but somebody picked me up.
Yeah.
So went back to plus the AQI was terrible.
Oh, that's rough.
I'm actually surprised they let the race go off because I heard it was like in the low hundreds.
It was
low to mids?
120 at race start. And Mike Ripley, this is Mike Ripley's race. He was told if it was over 150, they would at the start they would cancel the race. But it was 120, so he said we're starting. He said if it gets worse. There was a 24-mile loop and a 26-mile loop. And it goes, if it gets worse, when you come through the 24-mile loop, we may call the race right there. But once we started, nobody stopped.
Did it get worse?
Up around Bachelor, it was 175.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
But back down at the race start, by the time we came through there again, it was like 110. So it wasn't getting worse. So they just let it kind of go. So anyway... but yeah, I hitchhiked back to my van. I jumped on my gravel bike, and then I went and rode. I rode the next like 8-mile single track section on my gravel bike. And I rode out and cheered people.
Yeah.
And then I came back and then I rode with like teammate Kylie Hannell, and then came back and then I rode with Hatfield and Dr. Hannell because I was out there.
How did Kylie do?
She was doing really well. She was in the women's open lead.
Yeah, she's legit.
For the first 10 miles, beating Emma, the local mountain bike pro.
Wow.
But she had some flats and some crashes and some
she okay
stuff. Then? And she's fine. She didn't get hurt, but she couldn't hold on. So anyway.
Still.
So I did that race. It was DNF. So
all right, but you have 2 more races to tell us about.
Oh yes, there's 2 more races. So Sunday was Madras cyclocross. So Madras is roughly an hour from Bend. The AQI the day before was also terrible, but it calmed down. The AQI calmed down in by the time the race started.
Yeah.
So we did Madras, and again, Madras was a great course. It was at a local park. There was a lot of big, long power sections, and also some like sandy sections that were just fun and very kind of cool. So
how'd you do?
I was there was a lead group of 6 of us that got off the front, and a bunch of new faces because this was close to Bend, and some of the Bend hitters showed up. But we had a lead group of 6. I hung with the lead group of 6 for 4 of the 5 laps. 4 of the 6 laps. I can't remember how many laps I did now.
And they dropped you like a bad habit.
And then I just like threw the anchor out and fell apart.
Okay. Pretty good.
So ended up 8th.
It's not bad.
So I actually got passed by a couple guys. And I'm kind of battling for the podium in that series, but now I'm in 5th.
Does that mean you have to make the trip over again a couple more times?
No, there's 2 more races. There's one this weekend at Heiser Farms, and then the last race, Zaldercross. Up at Alderbrook
So everything's
Park.
here, yeah.
So everything's here. So I'm battling for that 3rd podium position, and it's going to be close whether I can make that or not.
And then you did that's 3 races. You
So
did 4.
that's 3 races, and then it was Trophy Cup Tuesday night at PIR. And it was a freaking blast. They suspected it was going to be muddy and nasty and rainy, and that didn't really materialize because it didn't rain as hard as they expected. But again, huge party, tons of people there, lots of fun. The Portland Trophy Cup races, I think because they're in Portland, the fields have been huge. There were, again, 45, 50-year-olds.
Jeez.
Wow.
In the 50-plus race. And there's like 3 or 4 guys that haven't done the weekend races that are just doing this Tuesday night race.
Really?
Yeah. And I
do you know any of them? I'm just curious, maybe if you've talked to them to find out why they're not going to do the.
It's work commitments. Some of them
on the weekends.
Yeah, have work commitments on it. Joe Santos and Scott Broadway.
Will they still do the same thing for the Cross Crusade?
No idea. Yeah, maybe not. I haven't talked that much to him about it, but yeah, we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. Again, I started fast and faded and ended up 8th.
Hey. It's not bad.
So
it's not bad out of 45 people.
No, it's not bad. So I've started hot in cyclocross, and it's not going so well at the moment. So
yeah, you'll be fine.
We'll just see what happens. So, but I had a good time. The races were a blast. Clara Hansinger showed up Tuesday night in her kit, in her
national
championship kit.
Wow.
She started.
She joined. Didn't she join like a local team, the S&M team?
Back on the S&M team because her Cannondale team folded.
Correct.
Right,
so her Tibco Cannondale team folded, and so for cyclocross, she is going to race for Team S&M.
Yep,
and they're going to do. I think they're going to do all the UCI races that are left here in the U.S., and I'm not sure what UCI races she'll do in Europe, but I'm guessing she'll do a few, but I'm not sure.
When she races in Europe, will she wear her national championship jersey?
Yeah.
That's cool. It would be kind of neat to see her though racing in the S&M kit, just to say, hey, there's a team right here in our backyard, and there they are.
It is the Stars and Stripes, but it does say S&M on
Gotcha.
it. Yeah.
I wonder if she wants to join the Dial team. I mean, we're not going to we're not letting anyone on the team.
It was kind of fun. She did race the women's 1-2 field, but she started like behind the 2-3 field. She started like 2 people back just to get practice and working through people. And she worked her way up to 3rd. So she didn't win the race, but she didn't start on the front line either. Huh. So it was kind of fun to watch.
Love watching her jump in with the guys in the 1-2 field.
Yeah.
And she handles her business. It's fantastic.
She does great. She's been doing all these road races. She's been doing what? Some stage races for the team and one-day races. She's done a bunch of the classics.
Yeah, she got the most combative rider jersey for one of those races for going off the front. Her mom was there in the team car, like kind of cheering her on. So she was kind of cool. Happy to see that her mom was there and wanted to do something special. So it was neat to see what she was able to pull off.
So really exciting. It was cool. It was a little bit of buzz in the field because she was there racing, and they were shooting a commercial before the race started. Bike Flights was actually shooting a commercial. They're one of the sponsors of Team S&M.
Yeah,
and so and they were taking team portraits with a professional photographer and just at sunset as the races were going on. So it was cool.
Huh. Right on.
Anyway, that's it. I did.
Every time I see one of the Team S&M guys biking out on the roads, I'm always like, oh, S&M, I'm into that stuff. And just to see their reaction where they're just they laugh every time.
I don't know what the story
same joke.
is.
I'm sure everyone gives
it's the same joke.
The same. It's like the name of the shop, right?
It's Selwood Cycle Repair. So where's the M come from?
Sales and maintenance.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but that's what I've been told. It was something like that, or service and maintenance, or sales and maintenance, one of those two things. But that's what it was.
Sadomasochism sounds better, right?
You know that was the play.
That was the play.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure that was the play.
Obviously.
This is a joke. So.
And it worked.
It worked.
It makes me laugh every time. Good job.
So good job, Tonkin.
Cool.
That's it. That's enough. Too much. Jake?
What?
No backpedal?
Backpedal for us.
Did you?
Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. I went to the acupuncturist a couple times. I went to the massage therapist. Did some Pilates.
How's Pilates
stuff. I was doing it at home. Cindy, who is the Pilates instructor, was off gallivanting around Europe and then was in Michigan. And she's back and she hit me up and she's like, "Hey, you want to get back started with me?" I basically told her that I'm pressing pause because they told me to do that. I'm just doing very basic things at home.
Rest.
Until the everything's kind of settled. But I did go to the doctor finally to see more orthopedic, and I'm going in to get an MRI. I think it's a week from yesterday or today.
You got one scheduled. Though.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
6:15 in the morning. You know, it's a sad state of affairs, guys. I had 2 options, actually 3. It was the first one was all right, wait for 6 weeks to get in there, or we can get you in at 6:15 in the morning or 9 o'clock at night. I opted for the 6:15. Yeah. Because I go to bed at 9:30 now because I'm trying to get better sleep and I'm trying to sync up with the
maybe you could have
schedules.
fallen asleep in the MRI machine.
Well, that's the problem. Then I wouldn't want to go home. I would just say, "Hey, just turn off the lights and wake me up in the morning."
Yeah.
You know,
leave me here with this thing buzzing in my head.
And what's funny is I'm trying to be mindful of the fact that my wife needs much more sleep than I do, and she likes to go to bed much earlier than I do. So over the course of time, the past, I don't know, couple of months, I've been slowly working it back. It used to be 11 o'clock, 11:30, and then it was 10, then 10:30, then 9:30, and now it's 9 to 9:30, and that's pretty much the thing. But I still only sleep the same amount of time, so I wake up every day between 4:30 and 5 o'clock.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's how I am too. It's
and I'm actually
I'm even worse than you. I can fall asleep at 8:30 like that.
Really?
I'm always trying to put my kids to bed at 8:30, and I'm always it gets to be 9:30. I'm I am done.
Yeah.
We cannot read another book. I'm out.
So that's kind of been my thing. It's been a couple months now where I've been getting up at that time, and I'm I'm going to start leaning into this a little bit. I'm going to start harassing people super early in the morning, especially the people that are sending me texts at 9:30, 10:30 o'clock at night.
Turn around and send it back.
Hey, right back at you. So anyway, that's been my life. It's
somebody sent me something very early this morning.
Probably me.
Maybe me.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
It's probably Jake. It was you, Jake.
Yeah.
Anyway, nothing special there for me to talk about other than, life is still kind of in pause.
Screw that.
I feel like I've sent Evan Price a text early in the morning, and he's right on it. He responds and I'm
immediately.
This is his only time that he has ever responded to a text because he never does. But you hit him at the right time, 6:30 in the morning, he's on it.
Champ Bailey, top 5.
I think he's
Champ
in the
Bailey.
top 5
He might be in the
discussion. I
house.
mean, I'm not just going to go out crazy.
Champ is here.
Top 3.
What's up,
Hold on,
Champ?
Champ's not done.
What? Oh, wow.
What?
We hadn't listened to the whole thing in a long time, but I don't know. I figured it's going to play out. So,
Yeah,
It's really good.
It is a good intro. So,
what's cracking?
okay, so there's a couple things that are happening in the world.
Okay.
The first thing I want to talk about though is the European World Championships. Did you guys watch this race?
No.
Oh my freaking word!
I haven't turned on television forever.
Did you watch it, Jake?
No.
What happened?
Watched
Champ
in like a week.
We're here to find out what happened.
The European World Championships road race. We remember last week they had the time trial that 19-year-old won. I'm talking about the men's race. This week was the road race, and it got whittled down to like a group of 7 that had Wout. It had Wout van Aert, his teammate Olaf Kooj, but riding for a different country because Olaf Kooj is Dutch and Wout is Belgian.
Yeah.
And then it had Mike Tennyson and Mads Peterson and John Degenkolb. It had a bunch of other people in this group.
No Big Six?
No, he wasn't even there. Big Six wasn't there.
His name is just Big Six now.
But with like 10K to go, Christophe Laporte takes a flyer, goes off. So Christophe Laporte, remember, also Wout's teammate, but he's French. So riding for the French team. And Christophe Laporte holds them off, this group of 7, and it ends on this final climb. And he's got with 1K to go, he's got like an 8-second lead, and Wout and Olaf pull him back.
Oh.
And so Wout's got a teammate that is trying to lead him out. Who was the teammate? Jasper Stuyven? No, it wasn't. Anyway, Wout's got a teammate trying to lead him out, a Belgian teammate that's trying to lead him out. And Wout attacks, and he just closes the gap on Christophe Laporte right at the finish line. And just as he's about to pass him, they both look at each other. They both sit down because the hill crested. They sat down to gather themselves and then jump again. And freaking Christophe Laporte held him off.
What?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So Christophe Laporte.
Well, I mean, Wout did have to close that gap.
He
So
did.
he's burning the match right there and didn't have enough time to kind of regather himself.
Yes, it looked, but it was odd because Christophe Laporte looked back and then was able to jump again, he had something left after being off the front for.
That's awesome.
For 10Ks and then holds off, and of course Wout was thrilled for him because
they're teammates.
They're Jumbo teammates.
Yeah,
but he ended up winning. So
speaking of Jumbo. We should talk about Apple rumors. That's the most ridiculous thing ever.
There's that, and then there's the merger. Have you heard of merger?
The merger, yeah, I saw that.
I don't think that. I don't like the merger idea. I like the Apple idea. Don't like the merger
I think
idea.
all of it's BS. Here's what I think. I think Apple is seriously talking to cycling teams. They're only talking about what they would want from cycling is we want to have it on Apple TV. We want to cover all of these events. We don't want to sponsor a specific team because that puts too much weight into one little boat. We want to do all of it. And they probably want to kind of have some sort of technology piece on the bike so that they can see stuff and work seamlessly with your
but not to
Apple
be a
device.
title sponsor.
I don't think so. This is just my gut feeling.
I don't know how
I would disagree on that.
Okay.
If you're a title sponsor,
we're betting on it.
Yeah, bet on it here.
Bottle of water.
There you go.
Bubbly water. Maybe
If you're a title sponsor and you want to come into the sport and you're going to attach yourself to the best team, I mean, why not do that? But if you're going to do the title sponsor thing, you think that they might have a little bit of autonomy to say, hey, and by the way, we're going to do this, 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 and this. So if you're looking to test stuff, if you're looking to kind of get things out there or to gather information, or I don't know, maybe you do put it on Apple TV and say, this is our team, we're going to play this, and you can watch all the other teams race too if you want. I mean, there's a couple different ways to look at it.
Those TV rights are specific.
I know, I'm just
they're not team specific, right? So they're everything.
Do you think that they pry that away from NBC?
No.
Peacock, rather?
No.
Probably not.
I don't.
Well, it depends on the race, right? Because NBC only has the Tour and
they did the Vuelta
and the Giro.
And they did several of the Spring
made
Classics.
Yeah, they did several. So I'm thinking that there's still races to pick up.
Sure.
If Apple wanted to.
Apple
we'll see.
does
They want
not
to have all of it,
need more exposure by sponsoring a cycling team.
$30 million would be like me losing a penny.
Right.
It's not nothing. Even that. It's such a small, minuscule drop in the bucket. So why wouldn't they want to attach themselves to the best team possibly of all time, but definitely right now?
It would just be a passion project for Tim Cook.
Why not?
All it would be.
Why not?
Right?
Yeah.
So is Tim really care about cycling that much? He's a cyclist, right?
He
rides bikes.
He appears to care about cycling.
He ride a big stand-up hybrid with a motor on it around the pass? I don't know. I don't know what kind of cyclist he is or if he does ride, but
I definitely want to see that happen because I think that would create a buzz about cycling, and I think it might get some people interested that weren't necessarily interested in the sport before because, hey, Apple, biggest company in the world, just sponsored a cycling team. Why not check out what this is all about?
It would bring eyeballs to the sport, and there's this one iota of hope that we have this like American that just won a grand tour. Does Apple want to kind of get behind that?
Why
like
not?
There's something there potentially. I just don't think it makes sense for
the documentary that could come out of this too that could go on Apple TV would be fantastic.
Which I could definitely see them doing something along those lines. I just think that Apple would be very much more interested in that side of things, like something very similar to the Netflix documentary, but for Apple TV. Have them do that. Have them cover some cycling races. So Major League Baseball, right? Apple signed that huge deal. They can cover Major League Baseball in detail in all the games, and you can get all that on Apple TV. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure that's correct.
I don't know.
Maybe they want to take over the UCI and just kind of flip-flop the letters around.
Please,
the ICU and...
Yeah. So I definitely think that Apple would be more likely to do a play along those lines as opposed to sponsor a single team. That's my gut take.
Champ's personal thoughts
Champs
is that this is complete conjecture that Tim Cook was just visiting the Jumbo facility. Somebody took a picture. There is nothing in the works. Nothing is happening with Apple.
Was that picture taken at the Jumbo facility or was that at the
or was
the
that one of the
Cupertino
races?
complex? I thought it was at Cupertino.
Tim and I are pretty tight. I could call him.
Yeah, call him up.
Call him into the podcast.
Let us know.
We're pretty tight right now.
But I think I don't think they
Hey,
do
Matt,
anything.
quick question for you. How many degrees of separation are there between you and Tim Cook? If you...
Two
people, you think?
One, I think my theory is that I could probably text someone that could text him.
Okay, so
but
Lance,
that would be
you and I are 3 degrees of separation from Tim Cook.
3 degrees.
So basically, we can just ask him.
Yeah,
we can basically just ask him.
Let's call him right now.
Get him on the hotline here. Yeah.
We need him for this conversation. I would be burning all the bridges in the world. Yeah, and that would be really funny.
Hey, you never know. Ask the guy if he wants to be on the podcast. Maybe he says yes. Yeah. That would be fun.
I'm sure he gets lots of offers to be on podcasts.
All right, next subject. Jumbo Visma
merger.
Quick Step Soudal merger talks.
That's
okay. So
instant. Remco goes to Ineos instantly.
Well, so
he hates Jumbo Visma.
So Garrett Thomas on his podcast did say Jumbo hates Remco. Remco hates Jumbo. There's no way that this is happening. Or anything would happen.
I think there's two pieces to this. There's the gut reaction of we all don't want this to happen. But then there's the reality of two big teams that are in need of financial help, and it could happen. So whether we want it to happen or not, it could very well happen, which I think is really got some potential.
Okay, so
Zeke is talking to you.
Zeke does not want the merger to happen.
He's grumbling over there.
Zeke's Jake's dog. But so here's my theory. They merge potentially, and we actually lose Remco from that group.
Uh-huh.
And
Roglic.
Yep. Gone. Both gone. Because teams want those guys. Yep. I think Roglic would be more likely a better pick for Ineos to snag.
Okay, so here's a couple of problems with it. So
right, let's hear it.
Okay, first off, UCI teams can only have 30 people on contract, right? And
how do you even cut from those teams? They're so good.
Jumbo has 27 and Quickstep has 23. So there's literally like 20 guys right off the bat that would have to be cut from the team or released. Now they have contracts, so they would still have to pay those people contracts.
Unless someone bought out
their contracts.
And those teams are. Well, I will say,
it's too many.
Jumbo's team is so good.
It's
How do you
too many
lose?
Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's too many Chiefs, right? It's too many like world class guys. So
it's
what
worse
happens
than that
with
too? Because you've got to think all those mechanics, all of those.
Yes, staff, the same thing.
Absolutely.
So half the staff gets cut, right? Lose their jobs? Or do they do something else? Do they create a super team with most of the budget and a secondary team with the remaining budget so they can keep all the writers?
You can't do that because one's the junior team and one's the wicked stepchild that's like...
But everybody's a junior team compared to Jumbo.
True.
Except for Ineos and maybe
Remco, we'll let
UAE.
you be on our B team. This is the team. This is the team for the big six over here, and you're clearly don't qualify.
Again, Champ's feelings are complete conjecture. This is not happening.
LaFleur is supposedly wanting to kind of hang him up. He wants to be done. I think he's wanting to kind of sell things. I think he wants to just retire, and
be done with it.
He, can make that happen. I really don't want to see it happen, and I want to agree with you that it's conjecture. They've been talking about it too much, and there's been not enough people coming out and saying, no, this is not going to happen.
Everybody's talking about it.
I think everyone in the peloton doesn't want this to happen.
No.
But that doesn't matter.
I don't think it's good for the sport, to be honest with you.
No, it's not good for the sport. But
you can't have a team with Vingegaard, Roglic, Sepp Kuss, Remco, Wout van Aert.
It's an all-star team.
You can't have all these people on one team. What do you do? I mean, it's a mess. That's a mess.
I just think Jumbo's already there. I think that you're adding Remco to it, but like all those names, it's Jumbo's already there. They're already an all-star team.
Mm-hmm.
They went 1 through 3 in a Grand Tour. That is redonkulous.
It is, and they won all 3 Grand Tours. Yeah,
and they won all 3 Grand Tours. It's already to the point where it's ridiculous.
So I think it's conjecture. I mean, nothing's been confirmed.
That's your gut feeling? Is this like if you had to say yes or no, which one is it? No, Matt. What?
Yes.
You think it's going to happen?
I think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to go down the way that everyone fears. Although I will say that no matter what happens when you merge and let's say you lose some of your big six, because I like saying big six, but let's say you lose significant amounts of those people, then I still think the problem is you lose all of those. You end up losing a lot of valuable people to the fray, like your mechanics and your soigneurs, like all these people that have worked hard.
They're on
programs.
some of the best teams, and what's going to happen is they're going to go take somebody else's job that's on a lesser team, that's a lesser whatever, and
unless they take 2 teams and create 2 new teams.
Yeah, there's always that possibility.
There's the possibility that they could create 2 new teams instead of combining one team.
There's only so many licensed World Tour teams. Correct. Is the other thing, and so if they combine into one team,
you have to have a license. Yeah.
So Major League Baseball wouldn't let the Yankees and the Red Sox merge together and keep the best players and then send everybody else off and say this is going to be one team. Major League Baseball would step in and say, we're sorry, that's not going to happen. Do you think that the UCI at some point in time steps in and says, sorry, folks, we can't do this?
Cycling has a sponsorship issue.
Yeah.
It always has. Major League Baseball does not.
No. Major League Baseball, it's not a problem.
So cycling has a sponsorship issue. That's part of the problem with Jumbo is bailing. They are not continuing as a lead sponsor. They're contracted through this next year unless they sign a new lead sponsor. And So who knows what will happen? Does that become Apple or does that become something else? I already have said no. I don't think that's going to happen.
It's very weird. When you talk to when you hear the interviews with the management, they're always like, "No, we're good. We're fine."
Yes, we're fine.
Very confident.
Like they already have a new lead sponsor. Yep. They just can't
announce
it. Can't announce it yet.
Yep.
So
the case.
That's my thought.
I don't think it's Apple, but
no, I don't think so either.
But the merger looks.
It
looks yikesy.
It's Selwood Cycle Repair.
That's true.
Team S&M.
Yes, obviously. That's clear as daylight.
It's Tonkin. It's Eric Tonkin coming in for
good choice
for a hot. Anyway, so that's my thought.
What's your take, yes or no, on Apple signing a team?
No.
Or was that a hard no or just
hard no?
Matt?
No. They won't sign a team. They are interested in cycling, but I think when Tim plays around and he goes traveling around, he's making deals, and I think he is very into Apple TV and making that a prosperous prospect. Can you say that like that? Prosperous prospect?
Sounds good to me,
You're
Matt.
not allowed to say that.
just to be contrarian, I'm going to say that they're going to sign on to become a team sponsor.
I like it.
I think that
And
that would be
we
fun.
have another bet on that. How many bets do we have in this podcast? Couple.
Every week.
2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the other one was. That's how fast I forget things.
Sweet.
All right.
All right, let's move on.
We got to move.
We got to move because Matt's got to go here
Champ
pretty
out.
soon. Champ out. Let's do
Dr. Lance Hepler.
Oh.
Lance Romance. Lance.
It's time for...
we're going to pick up.
Man of Mystery.
International Man of Mystery. I always forget about that one. All right, we're going to call that done. All right. We're going to get back to the
Hot seat
AMA thing.
Oh, boy.
The whole Ask Me Anything for Lance friggin' Hepler. And,
I'm an open book. I've already told all my stories.
But have you?
I know, but we'll find some other questions that you have not mentioned.
Matt, would you like to go first? Go for it.
What's the next van after this van?
Oh.
Adventure van. I'm talking adventure vans here.
Adventure vans. Okay.
And when?
I friggin' love my van.
I know.
I will say it's probably the best thing I've bought
be buried
in the
in that
last
van.
20 years. It is like changed my life enough, and I've enjoyed it way more than I anticipated I would. It has been fantastic.
It's coming up on 5 years in November. I remember when
Correct.
you got that. And I remember us doing a podcast and then going out there and checking out the van. And we went for a little ride around the neighborhood. And the van at that point in time had what, almost 30,000 miles on it?
It was like 28,000 miles when I bought it.
Okay. And just real quick, how many miles are on it as
It
of
has
today?
190,000 miles on it.
Wow. And Lance does have another car that's got miles on it as well. So just kind of do the math in terms of this guy over here and how much driving he likes to do.
It's seen some things.
It's seen some things.
It's Captain Carbon footprint over here.
Yeah, I'm not been kind to the environment with that van. That's for sure. I love it. It is built specifically for bike racing.
Yep.
You know, I like outfitted it for bike racing so that I can fit 5 bikes in the back without taking wheels off. So the garage in that van is very large compared to most vans.
Mm-hmm.
So like the sleeping area is small, the garage is huge. But yeah, there's some things I would like change because I've had it for like 5 years. The fact that I have 190,000 miles on it. I mean, those diesel engines are probably good for 500,000 miles or
300 to 500, depending upon how you take care of it. Yeah.
Right. And I've had very few issues with that van, with the engine, with hardly anything. So it's actually treated me very well. But would I like to have like a 2022 or a 2023 van that has updated, dashboard and all the new safety things? And yeah, I would like to do
Key
that.
fobs work. And
Yeah, my key fobs kind of work. They don't work all
you
that
have to
great.
really shove it in his face just to get those things to work. It's kind of funny almost, but
If you hold it to your chin, it seems like it works better. That's just old
fine.
wives' tale, and it makes me feel better.
Ah.
Anyway, so I actually look at vans almost every day.
I know. This is great. Are you saying this is a good question?
Yeah,
it's a great question.
It's a good question. I look at vans every day to see, is this something that could
Right.
work? And I always come back to the size of the garage. It's like, because yes, I have bikes in there, but I also put in like inflatable kayaks or SUP boards or all this rock hounding equipment.
You can get beds that are on hydraulics and you can lift them up and
Yes.
down. Those are fantastic. So that when you do have everything out of there, you can drop the bed down and
Drop
you're
the
not
bed
like
down.
staring at the ceiling 6 inches from your nose.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Every time I look at these things, I always come back to the garage. It's like the garage isn't big enough. I mean, I can fit 2 bikes in there. How do I go to Bend this weekend where I took my cyclocross bike, my cyclocross pit bike, my gravel bike, and my mountain bike? I took 4.
And you used all those.
And I used all 4. I didn't ride my cyclocross pit bike. I could have.
Well, that's good. That means
I
you
rode it
didn't
to the
have a
pit.
problem.
Right, I didn't have a problem. But I took 4 bikes with me and rode all,
Almost all 4.
Almost all 4. So I always come back to that size of that garage,
Well,
So
that's pretty easy to solve. You just custom build it yourself. I mean,
Correct.
There are plenty of builders out there or different kits that you can get into, and you can do your own setup and make it just exactly what you want.
But that is very expensive.
It can be.
Yeah. And
but so is a full built-out van.
When are they going to have like an electric adventure van? That's
They
what I
are
want.
coming out now.
That's what I want.
Their Mercedes has rolled out their vans, and I think you can get them now, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure if they're available.
I'm sure there's
yet.
a problem with
They're
it.
in the
I mean,
pipeline,
range is
though.
Probably.
If they're not here, they're close. But like Matt said, like if you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere,
How do you charge your freaking
but
battery?
you've got this whole solar thing going on.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
Solar is
cut
not
it.
strong enough to charge a a battery for the.
But what if it's sitting there for a full day while you're out doing mountain bike riding? I mean, is it going to keep it topped off?
Only if it's sunny.
It would have
True.
to be.
If it's full sun.
But and these are all the questions that you ask yourself of like, do I really want to have an e-van? And for me, the answer is no. A hybrid maybe, but not a full electric.
A hybrid maybe.
Yeah.
It'd be hard because, I mean, to travel to the next, charging station.
Yeah.
And then sit at the charging station for half an hour, 40 minutes for it to charge so you can continue on. I don't know.
PETA.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of a pain. So,
Yeah. Hydrogen. I think that'll be the way to go.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Good
that'd be
times.
great.
Cool.
All right, good question.
My question for Lance, you were a devout businessman for a lot of years, and you were very happy to leave that world behind knowing that you were financially stable enough to retire.
Yeah.
That
Until
competitive
he got into a van buying. Now he's got to go back to work.
If I wanted a bigger, nicer van and I'm going to build it myself, I got to go back to work.
That competitive spirit for the business world and that driving entrepreneurial spirit that you've had your whole life has to still be in there somewhere. Do you have anything inside of you that's not related to managing an investment portfolio that you have been thinking about, something that you want to dig into a little bit, something that you might want to get involved with?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's an odd question, Jake.
It's a good question.
Is it?
Good question.
I just know what makes you tick because there's a lot of similarities between the two of us. I don't think I can ever stop.
I want to open my own rock shop.
Oh, rock shop?
I would love to open my own rock shop.
I love this idea.
Okay.
I can't imagine there's a lot of people coming in to buy rock stuff.
No, that's not the point.
But that's even better because then you're left alone to do your rock stuff.
I would like to have my own rock shop, and whether I had a physical location or if it was all online. But if I had my own rock shop, then guess what? All my travel, expense. All my equipment, expense. All the exploration, even the van, expensed. Come on.
Would you just hang some sign in the window like, we'll be back in a month?
I know this business that's moving into a new space that might have some extra space that could sublet to you.
Rock shop.
This has been Rock Talk. And we got a theme song.
I see some problems and some holes with this idea.
There's some problems with the holes. I would open a rock shop purely for the tax advantages. That's all I would.
You really need like a
for.
closet for your rock shop.
Yeah. That's it. That's what my garage is. Have you walked into my garage, Matt?
Yeah.
It's a little scary. It's
been a little while since I've been in your garage.
It's all bikes and all rocks.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you couldn't just set your garage up as a home office and start a web-based business. And there you've got all of your tax advantages.
Yes.
You can write off your garage too. You can write off your van, your traveling, all of that stuff.
This is what my attorney friend, Steve Waldrop, says. Why don't you have your own rock shop? You need this just so you can write off all this stuff.
Oh, I can help you set up like a website or something too. Or Jake or I, we can either help you.
God, YouTube channel too.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's true.
All expenses.
TikTok channel, Instagram channel.
Yeah, I could.
What would you call it?
I don't.
Rock Talk?
Rock Talk. Rock Heps.
Rock
nuts.
Bottom.
Dr. Rock Talk.
Rock Nuts. I'm sure someone right now is yelling at the podcast like with some
with a great name,
with a really good idea. Hit rock bottom. There's something in there.
There's something in there.
There's something funny in there that's good. That's better than what we came up with.
Wonderful. So that's it, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
you come down and you do play bikes with us a little bit.
I do
at the lab, and you do get involved with a lot of stuff in Dialed as well. Does that scratch that itch enough? And then it's kind of like having a grandchild. Like you can come in and like cuddle it and say hi, and then when it starts to cry, you give it back and you go on your road adventure.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense now.
I walked into the shop the other day and Cameron was in there working on something, and I'm like, Cameron, do you need anything? And I'm like, okay, great, see ya. She's like, wait a minute, can you change that tire? I gotta go. I'm sorry. Yeah, I really like being involved with the bikes and the bike stuff. I mean, of course, it's a passion of mine. Of course, I love bikes and bike racing, and obviously, I mean, we do all this stuff, and so being more involved with that would be fantastic.
Sweet.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, The YouTube videos we make, I mean,
They're good.
Doing this podcast, obviously, we've been doing this for what?
5 years.
We've been doing this for 5 years.
It's really
5.5.
And we still love doing it.
Yeah.
And we still, so.
It's good.
Yeah, it's all good.
Crazy. Matt, got another question for Lance.
I feel a little guilty for this because this is all like future talk. Future talk. Where are you going? What you doing with your life? You've got kids that are getting to the age where eventually you could be a grandparent. Do you think that you'll stay in this Camas, Vancouver area? We'll say Vancouver
that's
area.
A good question.
For the next 10 years.
That's a great question. I kind of doubt it.
Okay.
But I'm not sure because my kids
sell
are
your rock business.
it's worth $50 at the moment.
Let's just cash that check
Cash
in.
that, baby.
Cash that check.
My kids aren't settled yet.
They don't seem like they're
No.
cranking out babies.
No.
They're not in that like baby making mode.
My oldest son, he's still kind of in school and fooling around during the summers and doing this seasonal work and has a girlfriend, but he's not married. My middle daughter, she has a wonderful boyfriend she's been with for a couple years, but she's not really settled yet either.
Where is she now?
She's in Utah.
Okay.
But have plans to move to LA.
Right,
but,
that's what I was thinking, LA.
But it hasn't happened yet.
Lance is going to move to LA. That's what we're getting at here.
You heard it here first. LA is your first choice.
I hell no.
Crenshaw, Compton, Long Beach.
Right, that's it. LBC.
Yep.
Rock. Gotta have your rock bottom cafe.
Rock bottom at the LBC.
Yep.
I couldn't live in California. But like I would love to live in Utah, but if my kids were there,
there's a chance.
There's a chance, but that's pretty low, I think. I don't think my kids
would you ever maintain two residents? Maybe sell the current Hepler compound, downsize a little bit, and then put some money into a place in Utah and then be able to bounce back and forth?
It's possible.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I mean, our kids aren't settled yet, so we don't have to make that decision yet. I love being part of this biking community.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what I have with you two guys,
yeah,
and being part of Dialed, I'm not going to replicate that anywhere else. If I move to Mesa or Tucson, or if I move to St. George, I'm not gonna find a couple guys that I can do a weekly podcast with and be part of a racing team and be part of a bike shop, and I'm not gonna find that again. So, to be honest with you, that is a very strong draw for me to stay here.
Yeah.
Is the freaking bikes is what's keeping me in Vancouver.
Enter Adventure Wagon, Adventure Van, the Lance Mobile, the Hepler Mobile. That thing kind of scratches. It helps you like get to Mesa. If you need to go to Mesa for a couple of weeks, go. If you want to go to Utah for a few weeks, go.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, last year, I spent 4 or 5 weeks in Arizona in January and February.
Snowbird.
Yes, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
And you've got friends in all of these places.
I do.
So you can do the van
family.
thing. You can park it in their driveway. You can take showers and do laundry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you got to figure it out, Lance.
The van life thing is working, but I've said this before. To make van life work for you, you kind of have to be a dirtbag a little bit.
Well,
you have to be kind of low maintenance to not have a real shower, not have, laundry facilities unless you're poaching on somebody or you're going to a public place.
These things can all be resolved, though, because there are different ways that you can skin that cat. Like you can get an outdoor shower if you really, really needed to, or if you needed to build something inside that had a bathroom / shower / laundry facility. You could do that too. It does take up a little bit of space, but it's just a matter of getting creative with how you laid it out. Like Mike Hansen, for example, that built his own van. That
fantastic,
it's just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there's maybe a couple things that you and I would want to change for us, but for him, it's perfect. And he's got all of the creature comforts in there, and he can go be self-sustainable for ever, and be able to take showers and be clean.
Would you ever go bigger, like an RV kind of thing?
The thing I don't like about RVs is it's very difficult to stealth camp, and my van, I can park anywhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I can go into any parking lot and park it.
Walmart parking lot.
Yep. Yeah. But RV, the bigger you go, the more comfortable they are. I mean, oh my gosh, there's a place in Mountain Home Idaho that sells these these RVs that have it has a diesel truck front, but it's like a 30-foot. Maybe it's not 30. It's like 23 foot, 25 foot. I don't know what it is.
It's like a box truck that they converted?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're fantastic. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. They can drive anywhere. They can go anywhere. But parking is an issue. And the garages aren't that big because they're all built out for comfort, right? So where do I put all the freaking bikes? I'm going to have 5 bikes on a rack hanging off the back of this thing?
No thanks.
Plus they're $350,000, so I'm not doing that.
Would you ever consider having a trailer that you could take with you in a pinch? I've seen that too. And they don't
possibly.
have to be crazy, and they can carry everything that you need. They could have a shower built into them. It could be like hey, if we're going to go on the road and we want to carry this little 12-foot trailer, little box trailer.
I have a box trailer that I could
set it up,
haul all that stuff. But those things get stolen easily too.
Yeah. Well,
and plus if you're disconnecting and leaving it somewhere.
Yeah.
So
just make it your poop wagon. It gets stolen and joke's on them.
You got the poop shack.
That's on you, buddy. The punishment fits the crime.
That's right. That's perfect.
That's how it goes.
All right, I got another one. And
Okay. That's all for me. I got nothing.
Smooth it out here and call it done. You don't have to answer this if you want. Everybody sees the Lance Hepler life going on in Strava land, in the Instagram land, and on the Facebooks. And
on Swift, they see your avatar. Now look at that avatar.
Look at that.
It looks like
guy.
sunshine and rainbows for the most part. And for all intents and purposes, for the most part, it is. Do you have any bumps in the road, any kind of trials and tribulations that you're dealing with, or is there another side to that coin that you would like to share with us? There's some difficulties that you're working on. I know this is a little bit personal, but I know you, and I know some of the things that are going on, and I'm not going to just outwardly tell them, but you portray a pretty solid life, which is fantastic, and it looks pretty perfect. But
it's not an Instagram world, even though that's what it looks like, but it is not. No, I've had some major setbacks in this last 18 months. It's actually been really, really difficult for me personally. Not my marriage is fantastic. My relationship with my kids is great. I talked about this whole Mormon thing, before, where I pulled out of the Mormon church a couple years ago, and that was a big life change for me. And I'm not Mormon anymore, which is very strange for me to say after 50
then what
years.
are you?
I'm a humanist.
Oh, humanist. I like that. Okay.
I believe in the human spirit. And
you guys
and
taking applications?
Yeah, you can join. It's sweet. $500,000.
Price is right.
Price is right.
Got $500,000 you can borrow, Lance?
Yeah. So, but actually, financially too, I've had a really rough couple years.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough for a lot of people, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm heavily invested in real estate. That's why I'm able to go to Arizona for 6 weeks if I want to, because I own quite a bit of real estate. But if you recall, I had a fire a year ago. It was September of last year, actually, when it happened. Yeah, it's been a year. So I had a fire, and 2 of my units burnt down. I was in the middle of refinancing those because I had a commercial loan on those properties. So I don't own all my properties free and clear. This was one of the properties I had a loan on, and I was in the middle of refinancing because that loan was due, because commercial loans sometimes are only set for 10 years. They're not they're amortized for 30 years, but they're only a 10-year time period, and my 10 years was up. So we were in the process when things burnt down. It was very strange that it was the worst time for me personally to have something burn down. But so what happened, I got a huge insurance check because I have insurance to help rebuild those things, and that went straight to the loan. So I don't owe anything on those units anymore, but I had to personally fund the restoration.
Which meant he was just out there with his rock collection, just putting rocks in on a little bit of glue. Put a little glue, put the rock on top, and then you rebuilt it.
If you recall, I did all the demo myself.
Save a few bucks,
and part of that reason was trying to save some money because I knew it was going to put me in a hole. So, I mean, I forked out $400,000 out of my pocket to fund this restoration.
Rock collection.
Plus the rock collection.
That's
So it
Can't put a price on that.
no. So what it did is it kind of emptied me. I don't have a huge, war chest of money in the bank because all my money's invested.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
money I made in dentistry and in the sale of my
working.
practices, I have it working for me. I invested it in certain things, and so I don't have a whole lot of cash I'm sitting on at the moment. So that made for a stressful
the
year.
fact that you're not liquid's probably not terribly bad because of inflation. I mean, that money would
Right.
just be worth less. So if it's out there working, hopefully it's not
Yes.
losing, but making a few bucks, and maybe that's the silver lining.
Yeah. So that was a bit of a setback. Although I'm coming out of that. The properties were rebuilt.
Coffers are getting filled back up a little bit.
Coffers are starting to grow a little bit. I just don't have this like chunk of money
that's a nice security blanket to look at that and see that they're exactly yeah.
So that was one thing. The other thing is I'm invested in 15 or 20 different real estate type investments or or businesses and whatnot, and many of them are doing very well. And one of them just completely detonated this year, and I had a big chunk of money with them. It was one of our team sponsors
from a few years back.
Yeah, from a few years back. That is not anymore, and they were a sponsor because of my involvement with them. So
did that whole group implode?
It's all in probate. It's kind of a nasty story.
It is, yeah.
Do you want to hear it?
I don't know. I don't think I have time.
You probably
run out of time.
You probably will run out of time.
Quick Cliff Notes version.
Cliff Notes version. It's the Tiny Vacations resort, Tiny Homes resort that was based in Texas. A young entrepreneur had started the property. I had been in some other oil and gas business deals with this guy when he started the tiny homes, and so I put some more money into the tiny homes resort. Long story short, it was his first time running a resort, and he hired a bunch of family members to help run the resort, and they didn't really know how to run a resort. They were trying to make it work, and he had been confronted about it with several different groups of investors, because there's probably 100 different investors like me that had put money into the company to try to help bolster things. But he had a hard time figuring out how to solve the issue without letting all these family members go, and it got to him, and he committed suicide.
Oh, I met that guy.
I think you have met him.
Training camp, yep.
At training camp. So he...
that's really too bad.
And so, of course, it's a big, giant mess at the moment. He had a new wife at the time and a new young baby, like a 18-month-old baby. And so the property is all mixed up with probate and where that goes. There was no will. We're trying to... The investors are trying to get together to try to get control of the property so that we can maybe get some of the money back if we sell it to another group or if we run the thing ourselves. It's a giant mess. So I had a big chunk of money with them, and that is doing nothing at the moment. And I possibly might lose all of it, which would hurt.
Yeah.
Well, there's
a
an
lot.
inherent value of the property.
Yeah.
So you got to imagine that if they were to sell that off, that you would see something back, but you're not going to realize the full amount that you put into it, probably. So
probably not. And when will that happen?
That's a good
or
question.
if?
Yeah, probate can be a long drawn out process.
It could be a long drawn out process.
Yeah.
So, and that's been since last November. So it's been almost a year for that. It's been 10 months since that happened. So that was very messy. So I've had these two like major financial troubles, in this last year, which has made things much tighter.
Have you
for
thought
me.
about selling your body to the night?
Yeah,
Lance,
I already do that.
There's a Lance Romance, like some sort of
there's some
name.
kind of love that could
I
come
feel
your
like
way.
there's real value there.
Contact me through Instagram.
1-900 Lance Romance.
Slide into those DMs.
Yeah.
I will be your lover. No.
Dr. Lance Heffler.
Oh, there it is. There it is. You can print money there. That's basically like printing money.
So, I'm a pretty optimistic guy. I don't get too hung up on stuff like this. Of course, it hurts and it's difficult, but that's freaking real life. Not everything goes your way. I mean, I had the fact that I retired at 47. That's like stupid. That's like
awesome.
That's fantastic that happened. Was that going to last? I don't know if it was going to last. I mean, I'm 53 now. Is it going to? Am I going to be able to hang on to this for? I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out.
So,
For You. You can start For You page.
Yes, that's
and a For Rocks page.
For Rocks page.
Your rock business. You should also print money.
That's right. Yeah,
just print money.
No money in that either.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So, I know that was kind of a personal question, but you're kind of an open book, and
I am.
Just wanted to let people know that it's not perfect. Sunshine and rainbows and unicorns and all that other stuff in Lance's life. He's got little things.
I struggle like everybody with stuff. So I just generally have a good attitude about things, and I laugh stuff off a lot.
Yeah.
Even when I probably shouldn't laugh stuff. I laugh at stuff that I shouldn't laugh at.
Yeah, I know. That gets me in trouble every time. Every time.
That's what I love about you, though. You're real. I mean, you say it how it is, and you find all the positive in things, and you laugh it off, and you just have a good disposition, and people can learn from that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Cool. Right on. Well, that's a good little. Any questions that Champ Baylor wants to ask Lance Hepler?
No more questions.
Cut off.
We're going to call this one done, and we're going to jump into one last thing. We'll do a Patreon drawing next week. So, Matt, you want to do one last thing real quick?
I finally got that video out that I talked about last week, and it's titled. I don't remember exactly what I said. Beyond what Apple is.
It's doing well.
It's doing fine.
It's doing well.
It's doing fine.
Yeah.
It's not like it's doing. I'm happy with performance on that. I think it's around 30,000 views, something like that.
Is Apple happy with it? Did you get any feedback from them?
I don't think that they're going to be super happy with it because of the way that it's very positive towards Apple.
But it's
however,
not glowing towards Apple.
No.
Yeah.
And the way that it presents itself is like very nasty towards Apple, where it's like beyond what Apple is telling us. Kind of like they're keeping secrets from us. And the way I start is like Apple's telling us that there's an all new processor in here. Apple's telling us this and this and that. And it's like, but you can't tell difference. And so it starts off negative, and then it kind of switches around. I'm like, but I really do think that they're being upfront with us because of this and this and this. And so it's a bit of a ramble video, and I don't remember how long it is, like 20 minutes, pretty long. And it's doing fine. Video's doing just fine. I haven't really heard back from Apple, so
but we're not going to get Tim Cook to come.
Yeah, he might not be as pumped about coming on the podcast.
Well, maybe we'll get him on here to change your mind.
Yeah.
There you go.
I have another video that I'm going to post as soon as I can get to it, and it's called like You're Wrong About Double Tap, the new Apple gesture. I don't know exactly. Title's in work in progress. But that one is definitely a
double
little
tap
bit,
this.
Double tap. It needs to have some sort of like. It needs to have like a shotgun on it or something.
Yeah, right.
So that one I think is a little bit more. It's kind of reiterating like all these people that are wrong about like this being like a gesture that's always been on the device before, and kind of explores the differences there. Maybe it won't get any views, or maybe it will. Who knows? But it definitely reinforces some of the stuff that Apple is trying to get across. Their message is like, this one really needs the new processor to behave like it's supposed to. So those are work in progress videos, and then I have some other stuff coming up that'll do well, like some Garmin stuff. But yeah, all in all,
fantastic.
Check out the channel, Matt LeGrand. Go to youtube.com, search for Matt LeGrand. There's 2 of us. Choose wisely.
Lance, you got one last thing for us, bud?
One last thing. We've got Heiser Farms this Sunday, the 6th race in the Harvest Cross Series. I'm going to go out there and start fast and fade.
There you go. Don't change. Never change.
Never change.
Do not change.
I got to give myself a chance. I think every time I'm in the lead in the first 2 laps, I'm like, yes, this is the week. I'm going to do it. I'm going to hold everybody off. Nope.
Next year.
Yeah.
My one last thing is we do have the last race of the Harvest Cross coming up out at Alderbrook.
Yep.
And it's
Alderbrook
called
Park.
Zalder Cross, and it's going to be the last race of the series, and it's on, was it October 7th, 8th? Yeah.
On
That's
Sunday,
Is
October
Bill
8th.
Gritsky putting that race on?
No.
Because he's done it for years, and he
is not.
I thought he was done with
It's
it.
straight Scott Schultz in Zone 5.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think
That's a great. I'm glad that I'm sure someone is very happy that the
got him
mantle
back.
has been passed.
I thought Alderbrook didn't like us and didn't want us to come back.
Right.
No, they did.
Okay.
There's lots of stories there.
Lots
but-
of stories.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that there's different people at Alderbrook. There's like the groundskeeper people, and there's the people that own it, and the people that own it really like it, and the groundskeepers don't because
we ruin
everything
stuff.
gets torn up.
We tear up grass.
And then there's different
but it's
years.
freaking Washington, and it grows back.
Well, there's different years that things get torn up more than other years, and so it's a big It's not simple.
Sweet. Anyway, that race is coming up. That is the series finale. They're going to have, obviously, people racing for that particular race, but the series finale should be finalized then for the people that are getting all the series points, and there'll be a full-on podium presentation for all of the series winners. I think there's something... God, what is it, like 78 different people that will get podium prizes and
Lots of
being on the podium? Yeah, there's a lot. So anyway, the net of that is we're going to be all in on supporting and sponsoring that particular event through the Dialed Cycling Lab. We'll have our full team out there, which is going to be really awesome. We're going to do a bunch of stuff with respect to helping out with all of these podium prizes. There's going to be a massive raffle as well, which is going to be kind of cool. And the way that you get the raffle tickets is akin to how we did that at the Michael Myers time trial. It's just basically for people that came out and raced, you get raffle tickets, and there's going to be a raffle, and Zone 5 is going to give away a bunch of stuff that we're helping them pull to the table. We've partnered up at the lab with Tailwind Nutrition, with Carbo Rocket, with Garmin, Giro, Silka, SRAM, Cask, Wahoo, Scratch Labs. I mean, these are all people that the lab is working with to bring prizes out for the podium as well as for the raffles. So, and there's still a few, I'm not going to say their names because they haven't completely come on board yet, but there's a few more options of some more people to jump on as well.
What about Mercedes?
I was going to say Lamborghini.
Lamborghini. What? We need Adventure Van sponsor.
Yeah.
Anyway.
One for you.
Yeah. That would be rad. But anyway, super excited about this. We will be providing neutral support for it again. You'll see a bunch of the dialed course tape. And anybody that's here local, especially if you're on the team and you're wanting to help out, maybe you need to get some volunteer hours in. We've got a massive bag of tape that needs to be rolled back up so that we can use that again. And I just personally don't have the time to do that. So if anybody out there is listening and you want to help out with that, I'll make it worth your while. Just let me know and we'll get you some tape and you can sit down and, mindless activity while you're watching TV at night.
Rolling party.
Sounds cool.
Anyway, so that's that. Anything else, guys?
That's it.
All right. We will be back next week with another one of these. And until then, bye for now.
My dog accidentally ate a whole bag of Scrabble tiles, so I took him to the vet. No word yet.
Jij bent een klootzak.